Hey everyone, in this tutorial I have brought to you how to integrate ChatGPT API and Twitter API in Python. So you are going to create a Twitter bot using the Twitter API, and your bot will be responding to people's tweets and messages using ChatGPT. So my bot 7 seconds ago using ChatGPT it posted, "Hey, Dave Mains," which is the code girl. "Thanks for sharing your thoughts. I completely agree that the new update has made the app much more user-friendly. It's great to see the developers actively working on improvements. Keep up the good work." So this is how ChatGPT is responding with a positive reply to the audience to which I'm connecting to. Let's get started. So first, I'm going to import Tweepy. Then we're going to import pandas as PD. Followed by we have to display the HTML code in case if it is required. You can use regular expressions to process the tweets from the customer. So we can import RE and we can import time in case if you need it. So these will be for libraries which we will be using in order to write the Twitter bot with ChatGPT API. Now I'm going to import OpenAI as OpenAI. So this is the OpenAI API which we can use with Python in order to connect with the ChatGPT API, and we can make a Twitter bot using it. Now you need to define an OpenAI .api underscore key, and this key you can get from the ChatGPT API. I'm going to keep this confidential in this video, so I'm going to put it later while I'll run the application. Then you would be needing, you need to set up the Twitter API credentials. So let's say set up API credentials. So what are we going to do with Twitter API credentials? Let me just type it here, set up Twitter API credentials. So we would be needing 4 information. One would be the consumer key, then the consumer secret, access token, and the access token secret. So let us just define consumer key. I'm going to enter all of this information later. Then you need a consumer secret. Again, I'm going to hide it. Followed by you would be needing an access token, and we will be needing an access token secret. So this is how we are going to have, these 4 information would be required in order to get started with this. Now we are going to authenticate with Twitter. So how you are going to authenticate? Let's quickly check back. So we are going to use Tweepy's O authentication handler, where we are going to provide the consumer key and consumer secret. With this, we are going to get an authentication variable, or using that authentication, we can set the access token by providing the access token and the access token secret. So let's get started. We are going to type authentication. We're going to use Tweepy.OAuth handler. So we are going to have the OAuth handler. And with this we will be passing the consumer key and we will be passing the consumer secret. So these will be 2 variables which I will be using. Along with this I will be having set access token, and for this I'll be passing the access token and the access token secret. So these will be the information which we will be using in order to authenticate. Now post this, we also need to have a V2 API connection in order to write tweets. So latest Twitter versions needs V2 API connectivity. So for this, we will be creating an API. This will be for the V2 version of Twitter. Twitter V2 version will be supported here. So we are going to create an API. So you need to have a tweepy.client you can use. Apart from that, using this, you can pass in your, we call this as, the bearer token. So you need to provide a bearer token, and I'm going to provide it later. followed by you need to have the consumer key, then you have to provide a consumer secret, and you can provide the access token, and finally the access token secret. So these will be 5 information which will be provided. So I'm going to provide this information later when I'll be running this, and you guys have to grab your information of the credentials so that you can use it with your application. Now, so we got this information. Now what are we going to do? We are going to get started with creation of the tweet, and then we will be defining various methods like getting the Twitter user ID or the Twitter username. Apart from that, we will be writing a function for processing tweets from the users. So let's get started for that. Let's define a new function. I'm going to define a new function. I'm going to call this function as create tweet, and within this I'm going to provide an input text, followed by I'll have max tokens. The max tokens will be 52. You can keep it somewhere like 50, 100 as you like. Then you can have temperature. Total 4096 tokens can be used, which includes input and output provided. So if you don't have a very large output and input, you can keep small number of tokens. So I've kept it 50 here. So now what we are going to do, let's keep it, make a try-catch block. And within this, I'm going to handle the response, and I'm going to connect to OpenAI, and I'm going to request the class chat completion. Let's call it as chat completion, and I'm going to create a chat here. So now what I'm going to create, I'll be having a few information needs to be provided here. So first we need to provide the ChatGPT model which we have to use. So the ChatGPT model which I'll be using is GPT 3.5 Turbo. So this is what I'm going to use, and followed by this you need to provide another variable which will be the message variable, and how you want the message to be created. So this is going to be the input message which we will give to the ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is going to create a response for us on the basis of the message provided. So I'm going to provide a keyword known as role, and the role will be user, and then I have to provide content, and within the content I'm going to provide the input text which is provided. So we'll take the input text. So this is going to be the input, and this input text will be provided to ChatGPT 3.5, and we're going to get a response for this. Now, once you're done with that, apart from the message, we would be needing a few more information like the max tokens which needs to be sent. So this is going to be max tokens which we already have here. And finally, apart from that, we will be having the temperature information. Let's call it as temperature. So this will be the temperature that will be provided for ChatGPT. Finally, we are going to get a response. So let's just get the response which we get from ChatGPT. So I'm going to return the response, and from the response, I'm going to figure out the choices, and I'll select the index 0, whatever has been returned. I'll fetch the message out of it. From the message, I'm going to extract its content, and finally I'm going to strip it in order to remove any extra spaces. And then we'll have I'm going to accept, I'm going to handle the exception. This will be the exception, and finally what do we need to do? We're going to print the exception, whatever the exception is. In our case, I would also be passing a no answer, so that in case if there is an exception, I'm not going to create a tweet, and I'm going to pass in a no answer is returned. So that's how we created a create tweet function in Python, which will be used in order to create a tweet. Now, using ChatGPT. So we are going to give him an input, and then we are going to create a tweet. So the whole idea is we are going to read a response, we are going to read a tweet from a user on Twitter, and using ChatGPT, we are going to create a response for the tweet, and we are going to tweet automatically. So this will help in audience engagement. And as you know, on any social media platform, if you have higher engagement, you have the probability to get more visibility for the posts which you share. So what next we are going to do now? So now let's get started by writing a method. So I'm going to write a method to process the tweets from the liking users. So let's just define another method. This will be the method which we will be using to process the tweets which we extract from Twitter. So now, so what am I going to do? I'm going to, find out a post and I'll figure out those posts where we get a lot of likes, and depending on the likes which we are getting from a post, the people, those who have liked that post, they might have interest in that post. We believe this. So we are going to fetch those users, those who have interest in a respective topic, and we are going to write responses to what kind of tweets they do, so that we can have an engagement. And later when we post a material or anything which we want to sell to this audience, it will be displayed to their home screens, okay, or what do we call as timeline. So let's get started with this. So we are going to define the process. I'm going to define the tweets, and let me just call it as from liking users. I'm defining. So we are going to fetch the users and their tweets who have liked a certain post. So that's what is going to be our objective. Now, so we are going to get started with a tweet ID. So let's say I'm going to get a tweet ID, and I'm going to take it and import, and I'll call enter tweet ID. So we are going to fetch a tweet ID which has huge number of likes, and depending on that, we are going to fetch what they have tweeted, the likers, and this likers will become our eventual audience for the post which we want to share with them. Now, so we're going to grab the followers. So let's get api.get _liking _ users. So this is a function which we are going to get for our respective tweet ID. So we are going to specify the tweet ID, and we are going to get the users, those who have liked that tweet, using the Twitter V2 API. And we are going to put that information in a variable known as followers. So once we get this, now we are going to, filter out each follower. We have extracted this information, and when we extract its information, we are going to tweet to that user. So let's get started. So I'll say for my follower in followers. So I'm going to find out each and every follower. And what am I going to do? I'm going to extract the follower data. So I'm going to extract a follower's data. And what are we going to do here? So I'll write a quick, a list comprehension in Python. So what am I going to do in this list comprehension? I'm going to get the follower in my follower, and I'm going to fetch certain information from this follower. So I'm going to extract its follower ID. I'm going to extract the follower name, and I'm going to extract the follower username. So this information will be extracted for each and every follower, and I'm going to get the follower data. So once I get the follower data, what am I going to do? So I'm going to get the user, I'm going to see what he's tweeting, and accordingly I'm going to tweet to you. Now, so let's get started with that. So I'll check it. I'll say for follower underscore ID, follower underscore name, follower underscore username, in follower underscore data. So for each follower, we will fetch its information, from the follower data, and we're going to get that user. Okay, so we're going to get the user data, and I'm going to call my Twitter API to grab the user, and I'm going to get the username, and this is going to be my follower username which I'm going to get. Okay, so we got this information. We using the API, we get the user, we provided the username, follower username, and we're going to keep it in the user data. So once we get the user data, we are going to get the user tweets. Okay, so now what am I going to do here? So let's make a try catch block again, and let's get the user's tweets. So I'm going to get the last tweet from the user. So I'm going to get users tweets. I can get as many tweets I want. So with respect to the Twitter protocol, okay, so I've got the user tweets. I'm going to save it into tweets. You can respond to a tweet of one user, all of his tweets, or you can fetch one last tweet or any tweet related to the kind of data which you want with him to connect to. So you can find his tweet and you can respond accordingly. Okay, so we got all the tweets. Now what am I going to do? We're going to process each tweet for tweet in tweets. So we got the tweets again. We're going to get the tweet data. So let's grab the tweet data. Again, I'm going to write a list comprehension for you tweet in tweet. Okay, I'm going to filter the tweet information, and this is going to be my utweet.id. I'll get the tweet ID, and then I'll get the tweet text. So I've got the tweet ID and the tweet text. So once we have got this tweet data, so now we have every unique tweet available from the user. So what am I going to do? You're going to read that tweet ID and text and get started with the processing. So I'll say for tweet underscore ID and tweet underscore text in tweet underscore data. Now I'm going to, you can print that tweet and you can start responding to that tweet. Okay, so let me just quickly print the tweet. So what am I going to do? I'm going to print the tweet text, and the tweet text will be tweet underscore text. So this is going to be the tweet text, which I'm going to print first. And then what I do want is, I would like to see, I would like to respond to users when, if I want to respond him to, that we can do either one by one, or else you can give him an OK signal and it can, quickly filter out each tweet, and you can respond accordingly. So we can do one thing here. So we got the tweet text, as you can see here. Now let me just write that. Okay, so I'm going to make a check. You can take into values that say OK status. It's called as OK. Yes status. So these are the filters which I'm using as of now. OK would be asking me, whether I want to interact with that tweet or not. And if I want to interact, do I want to edit the ChatGPT's response? If I want to send any custom, then I'm going to say yes. Okay, so these are the two statuses which I'll be using, and let me just quickly define them over the top here as well, so that there is no issue of reference before assignment. I'm going to make them none initially. Now, so you can see that we got this. Now we are going to quickly check back and start, tweeting. So what can be done here? We can quickly check if OK underscore status equal to OK, You can use an input here, an input box, so you can take a user's choice, but in my case I want my bot to respond to each and every tweet, hence I have kept it okay. Now, so if okay status is equal to okay, and we can also check if yes underscore status equal to yes. Okay, so these will be two values. So we are going to create a tweet. So let's say I can quickly say my tweet is equal to create underscore tweet, and I can give him an input text and enter custom input text. So we can quickly give a custom input text, and it can create a tweet accordingly if I want it to be customized. Or else what I'll do, I will ask him to create a tweet on its own. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to call my tweet, and I'm going to create a tweet, and I'm going to ask him this information, so tag a user, write only friendly positive tweet, so I can do that accordingly. Okay, now, so let's say tag user and write a friendly reply tweet for the following tweet. Okay, and here I'm going to attach the string, and this will be the tweet text. So we are going to read the tweet text, whatever the tweet is, and on the basis of that we are going to create a reply. I believe this is cool and clear to everyone. Now, so once you have got that created, now what next we can do? So we can quickly, now we have to ask the Twitter to tweet. Okay, now so once our tweet is ready, now we can quickly check. Okay, now so I've got the okay status. Now I'm going to quickly check back if my tweet is not equal to no answer. If the chat GPT has created a Twitter response, only then I'm going to post it. Okay, so now here I'm going to create the Twitter API. I'm going to ask the Twitter API to post. So I'm going to ask create tweet. This is going to be my text, and this is going to be my tweet text, and I'll ask that it must be sent in reply to tweet ID, and then I have the tweet ID. So with this, we are going to fetch you want to tweet to which, and this is going to be the tweet response. Now, so once we got this, we got the tweet response, and finally we can quickly print the tweet response for your reference that the tweet has been sent correctly. Now finally, so we have created a couple of try and catch blocks. So here I'm going to keep my catch block here. So I'm going to accept exception as Z, and I'm going to okay, so let's just print exception. We're going to print the exception, and finally we are going to continue to the next tweet. Okay, now so that's how the tweets are going to be processed. Now finally we can quickly call this function as soon as the code runs. You can write it in the main block also, in order to ensure that your code is running. Now I'm going to enter my credentials, but I will not show those credentials for confidentiality. So finally, I have updated all my credentials and I'm going to run it all. And in case if there is any issue of this try and catch block not aligned, I'm going to fix it and I'm going to run it back again. Okay, so I have an exception here at the role. Let me just fix it quickly. I'm going to cell run all again. And then I have EOL scanning literal. Okay, so I'll get to the print. Okay, I don't have the double quote here on line number 21. So I'm going to put a double quote here. And we're going to run all. And if the tweet has no answer, I'm going to quickly update the block here. And I'm going to run all. And now you can see that it's running fine. So it's asking me for the tweet ID. Let me open a Twitter tweet, Twitter home. So I'm going to, so how do I reach out to colleges or any such thing? Let's say I will show you one example. So I'm going to fetch out the college tweets, which has college mentioned with minimum favorites, around 100 or so. And I want to filter the replies. I only want the posts. So you can see that, and the location is India. So from India, if you can see that I've got multiple posts. So I've got this one post known as Sugar Board. And there are various posts. All of these posts have more than 100 likes. Okay. Now, so here Rahul Rana, this has a situation, 603 likers. So we are going to fetch this audience and we are going to tweet to them. So I'm going to get the tweet ID and I'm going to enter this tweet ID here. And when I run it, it's going to, okay, yes, this is not, let me just stop it. Let's just put the exception as yes status. Okay, now so I'm going to cell run all. I'm going to enter the tweet ID, and now you can see that how many. So messages is a required property. Let's just quickly stop and check where the messages are. The messages would be I think it would be in the ChatGPT section where I have put message. I need to put messages here. Okay, so we're going to cell run all. Again, I'm going to put the tweet ID. Let's just filter the tweet ID from here, from Twitter. We're going to extract his fans. So it says how many of you use Notion. That's a tweet text. Now it is, creating a response, and it responded. You can see. So the response is at Sunil. I use Notion and absolutely love it. It's such a versatile tool that helps me stay organized and productive. How about you? So you can see that the second tweet was created this by using Flutter, and it is saying, "Hi there, congrats on creating your app using Flutter." So this is what my Twitter bot is responding from my account. So if I can show you, I'll go to my profile and I'll open my replies, and if you can quickly see, so here you can see that here's one post, me JavaScript and you, on this was posted, and so my bot 7 seconds ago using ChatGPT posted, "Hey Dave Mains," which is the code girl, "thanks for sharing your thoughts. I completely agree that the new update has made the app much more user-friendly. It's great to see the developers actively working on improvements. Keep up the good work." So this is how ChatGPT is responding with a positive reply to the audience to which I'm connecting to. So Coder Girl would have liked that tweet, and now what she is posting, we are trying to connect with her. When she responds, Twitter will find out it has an engagement, and whenever we are going to post anything, it will be shown to the user. So that's how you can see that my Twitter Python bot is continuously reading messages from the users and trying to respond them with respect to their messages. So I hope you have learned how to integrate it For complete understanding of how to write such codes, join our product development workshop, where we are going to make you understand how you can identify customers' requirements, how you can write products, how you can find out and create digital marketing tools in order to get attention of your users, followed by how you can do sales of your software products, how you can offer fantastic support, and finally how you can bring in investments from the right investors. So do join the product development workshop. Thank you.